Hi guys, this is Omer from MMORPGS.com. I previously did a video for my top 10 favorite MMORPGs, and you guys have been asking for my favorite MMO / the best MMOs out there. So I'm going to make a video just for that. Now, these games will only look at MMO games. So this includes MMO strategy, MMO racing, MMO shooter, and just general MMO games. There will be no MMORPGs on this list. But I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. Instead of going with my top 10 favorites, I'm going to go with the top 10 highest rated as per user ratings on MMORPGS.com. So all of the games on this list are chosen by MMO readers. So if you don't like this list or you disagree with it, just go to MMO.com and vote for your favorite game. And I will make an updated list of the top 10 MMOs in the future, so your votes do count. Anyway, let's get started. Alright guys, number 10 on this list is Drift City, published by Iggy. The game is a Korean-developed racing MMO with a huge persistent world and a racing component, as you can see right now. So what you're seeing right now is the whole lobby-based racing component to the game where you race against other players. But there's a huge persistent world as well, where you can actually drive around the city in the game. A huge city, grab quests, actually kill other cars sometimes, and otherwise just explore the world, complete quests, customize your cars, build your own cars, and so much more. If you like racing games, there's really no reason not to try Drift City. It's a fun game that I've played quite a bit before, and it's really well worth checking out. Up next is FIFA Online from Electronic Arts. The game actually came out in its open beta in May 2010, making it a pretty new game. As the name implies, it's a soccer-themed MMO, and I think one of the only soccer-themed MMOs out there, if not the only one, as I make this video. As you can see from the video, it looks pretty much like every other soccer game, where you can actually move with both the mouse or the keyboard, whichever controls you set up. And you can even use a gamepad, I believe. The game actually works really well. I'm not a big fan of soccer-themed games, or just sports-themed games in general, but I found FIFA Online to be a lot of fun because it's very easy to jump right into it. It's pretty cool because as you play the game, as your players play the game, they'll actually level up and improve their individual attributes. So there's a lot of cool RPG/MMO components to it. Up next, guys, number 8. It's Savage 2 from S2 Games. Now, this actually blends unique RTS and RPG elements to form a really unique experience. Now, the game actually plays in both the top-down perspective and a regular MMO FPS even kind of perspective. You can see right now the top-down perspective of the commander. Each team has one commander. He plays in standard RTS gameplay, like you would see from the Age of Empires 2 / StarCraft style gameplay. He plays over top and can issue commands. Now, the individual soldiers in the game, which is everybody else, plays in this sort of first-person perspective, where they can actually kill enemies and level up. And the commander basically issues the command, and he's got to coordinate his team to grab the vital resources in the game, and use the resources to upgrade their units and even make buildings. It's a really fun game and actually one of my personal favorites. I would probably rank this game a little bit higher on this list because I absolutely love this game. You can see right now just the Melfosses in the game, and as players get kills, they can use those kills at their hell shrines to transform into demons, which are really powerful. There's actually an incredible amount of strategy involved. My one complaint with the game is it's not that popular. It has a low player base. Alright guys, number 7, another racing MMO. This time it's by Area Games called Project Torque. It's a 3D realistic racing game. When I say realistic, I actually mean realistic. There are a lot of racing games out there, and what Project Torque does to kind of distinguish itself amongst all the other racing games is it's focused on hyper-realism. The game has no items, so you can't just get bombed in the last lap or something if you're playing, like you can in Mario Kart. There's no shenanigans, alright? It's just real racing across many tracks. The game has customizable cars as well, which is to be expected amongst the best racing games out there. I played Project Torque a long time ago. It was actually one of my first racing MMOs I've played. I really liked what it was trying to do. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous too. It's a fun game if you like racing games. Don't expect to like it if you don't like racing games, and especially because it's not chaotic either. There's no missiles flying around, no machine guns. It's a straight up racing game. I think it's one of the only straight up racing MMOs out there. Alright guys, number 6 on this list is Operation 7 from Netgame. It's actually the first MMO FPS making it onto the top 10 list over here. It's a tactical MMO modern shooter, meaning it's very similar to every other tactical MMO out there. Basically, you die in 1 to 2 hits or 3 hits if you aim properly. Plenty of weapons. The game has, I think, 17 plus maps right now. Supports numerous game modes with over 20 players on a single map. Personally, I don't know if I agree with this on the top 10 list because I personally like combat arms a little bit better than Operation 7, but that's my personal preference. It's clearly the game has very solid gameplay mechanics. It does have a little bit of a hacker problem, but that's mostly been under control lately. Alright guys, number 5, FreeStyle Street Basketball, a basketball-themed MMO published by GameKiss. This game was actually originally out, I think in 2007 or 2008 by Sierra Online Entertainment. They eventually closed it down and GameKiss picked up the service. It's actually really popular in Korea and it's a basketball-themed MMO. Actually, one of my favorite MMOs, and it's really hard to explain why. I'm actually not a fan of sports games. I've said this numerous times. I'm a big console gamer too, but I've never played sports games on consoles. But I guess I like MMO sports games. I don't even watch basketball or even interested in basketball, but I find FreeStyle Street Basketball to be a fun game. Basically, the game has 3 classes: center, forward, and guard. Pick one of the 3 classes. I keep calling them classes, they're actually positions. And as you level up, you can actually get a job advancement in the game. It's actually a very simple game. The gameplay mechanics are, I have to say this again, remarkably simple. But the gameplay is fun. It's something that you can play with friends or just play by yourself. Right now, the game only supports 3v3, 2v2, and 1v1. There's no full court access. But it's a fun basketball themed game, and you don't need to like basketball to enjoy it. If you have friends to play with too, it's even more fun. I do recommend you check this game out. I probably would have ranked a little bit higher on my own list. Alright guys, number 4, CrossFire by Z8 Games. It's a 3D MMORPGS game with tactical elements, meaning you're going to die in 1 to 3 shots. 1 shot with a sniper usually. And snipers in the game are actually really popular. The game is yet another MMO FPS on this list. I mean, it shouldn't be too surprising to see all these MMO shooters on the list because MMO shooters are really popular. And this is one of the more popular ones out there, or at least one of the highest rated. The game is by Z8 Games, like I said. It supports only a few maps, which is probably its weakness, but where the gameplay really shines is its core gameplay mechanics and functions. It just works really well. But one problem though is the sniper is a little bit overpowered, as you see in the video on the right side over there, or in the video. You can see this guy owning it up. I wish that was me. Well, actually, if I was playing, it'd be like 10 times better, but you know what I mean. Most people in the game do use snipers, and they can get really frustrating. In its core, though, CrossFire really doesn't do that much to differentiate itself from other MMO shooters, but it's a fun game. If you look for an MMO shooter to play, you know, why not give it a try? Alright guys, number 3, S4 League. Yet another MMO shooter. It's actually a third-person shooter, so it's a little bit different. And it actually differentiates itself a lot from other MMO tactical shooters because unlike the tactical shooters out there, this is not set in a modern setting, as you can see. Instead, it's got these anime-inspired graphics and set in a sci-fi futuristic setting, but it all works out really well. It's actually one of my personal favorite MMOs as well, and the game I still play on and off. There's a bunch of different weapons in the game. I remember when it first launched, it's by Playerbase by the way. I remember when it first launched, it really had only a few maps and like 3 different clothings and items in the game, so the shop was kind of crappy. But nowadays it's being updated regularly. There's a lot more to do, bunch of different game modes. Really fun game. It actually plays a lot like Guns of Duel if you've played that on EG's portal, except with a more futuristic setting. And the aiming is a lot better now too. I remember back in the day it was so laggy because it was hosted in Europe. It's still hosted in Europe, but there's actually much less lag now. It's a great game, and it's different than other MMO shooters out there, and that's what I want to emphasize. It's actually unique, and it's different. And that's something you really don't see in other MMO shooters, especially the tactical ones. Alright guys, up next, number 2, Alliance of Valiant Arms, or called AVA for short. It's an MMO FPS by IG. Again, it shouldn't be too surprising to see all these MMO FPS games making it to the list. They're very popular, and Alliance of Valiant Arms especially. I do want to give this game props. In its core gameplay, it's not too different than other MMO shooters, but in presentation-wise, wow, it totally astounds. Just look at the game's graphics. This is a free-to-play MMO shooter. Honestly, with games that look this good, I'm surprised people actually buy like Xbox 360 shooters and console shooters. Not to say this is better than Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2, but it's a great game. I've actually played both, and Alliance of Valiant Arms is an incredible game. It's by EG, like I said. It has numerous things that other MMO shooters don't, though. It has an achievement system, a skill system actually, you can unlock different skills, plenty of weapons in the game to keep you occupied. There are plenty of maps as well, a few unique fun game modes too. Unfortunately, there aren't too many maps right now, which is one of its only drawbacks, but the core gameplay itself is a lot of fun. It's similar to other tactical shooters in that you die really fast though, but it does have its own unique twists. And again, there's really nothing else like it in terms of graphics. It's a fun game I still play every now and then. S4 League and Alliance of Valiant Arms are 2 MMO shooters that I play on and off pretty regularly. If you haven't played it, you're missing out. It's one of the best MMO shooters out there. Alright guys, number 1 spot, League of Legends from Riot Games, and it absolutely deserves it too. It's a 3D MMO strategy game, and I might be using the word strategy incorrectly because it's actually an Aeon Strife game, and if you haven't heard of that, it's like Dota. If you've never heard of Dota, I can't even begin to explain this. You might want to just click on the link and learn more about it yourself. The game has some 40 different playable heroes in the game, and they're adding more regularly. There's actually 2 maps now, a 5v5 and a 3v3 map, and unlike Dota and Heroes of Newer, there's a whole persistent world element to League of Legends, where you win games and you actually level up your summoner, and you can permanently increase your attributes across every hero you play. It works really well, and it doesn't imbalance the game either. And the fact that you have to buy some of the heroes in the game with game currency, not real life cash, it adds more reason to keep playing the game. There's so much depth in League of Legends, it's absurd. And the thing is, it's probably the most competitive MMO out there. Each game can last up to 45 minutes though, which can be a very long time, sometimes even longer, but it's so competitive, but it's still really fun. If you haven't played it, you should definitely check it out, though it may not be too noob friendly because there is a steep learning curve. Alright guys, that's it for my top 10 best MMO list, and again, these are based on user ratings on MMOHut.com. If you don't agree with this list, don't flame me, go to mhot.com and vote for your favorite games. You simply go to the game page and simply left click over here and just click on any of the 5 stars over here. You can rate from 1 to 5 stars. You don't need to sign in. You don't need to sign up or anything. You just click and it votes right away. You can't vote twice. It won't let you. Very simple process. Just vote for your favorite games. I'll be making an updated list in the future, so your votes will count, guys. Anyway, guys, this was Omer from MMORPGS signing off. That was cheesy, but I'm going with it.